Hey folks, welcome to the Yoga Wild YouTube channel. My name is Casey. I use the pronoun she, her, and I will guide you through your practice. This is a beginner class. Maybe you've been practicing yoga for a while and this is just the pace that sounds great for you today. I get it. But if you are brand new to yoga, welcome, congratulations, and thank you for trying on your yoga practice. And it can be a little scary or intimidating, and often we can be so afraid of doing something wrong or making a mistake that we don't act or don't do. So congratulations on acting, on doing. And considering our current climate, if you're watching the replay, it's June 2020. We've had already about a week of Black Lives Matter protests, not just here, but also across the world. And those were kicked off by the murder of George Floyd by cops in Minneapolis and by police in Minneapolis. And that was just a tipping point. And what's happening now is there are a lot of first-time conversations, a lot of first-time anti-racism conversations happening. And that also is happening, in the white community, in a community of privilege, to be having this conversation for the first time. But like my family, we spent our morning around the table watching a town hall with CNN and Sesame Street. So maybe these first conversations around anti-racism are because you're dealing with children, but maybe they're happening with adults. And what we've been hearing, or I've been hearing from a lot of white folk is, I just don't know what to do, or I don't know what to say, or you're afraid of doing the wrong thing. And that's where our physical yoga practice, especially if you're brand new, can be so impactful, because we are embodying, like we're really trying on what it's like to do something new or scary or intimidating and be okay that we're going to make mistakes and that we don't have to do it perfect, but understanding that like it has to be done. We need to do this. We need to take care of ourselves and people around us. So thanks for joining in. We'll talk more about just making mistakes and embracing that throughout practice. A couple blocks might be nice. And if you do have blocks or books or something, set them up on either end of your mat so we have them when we're in different places. And then a blanket can be really nice too, especially if you have tight legs or just feel tight today. Having a little blanket. And we'll get started. Child's pose, Balasana. Bring your toes together and spread your knees wide. From here, lower your forehead either to your hands or your mat, maybe even a block or pillow for some height. And you could choose to let this be a little bit more restorative, or you could start to extend your arms out and make it a little bit more active. Especially if you live in a tight body, it might feel better to have your hamstrings, or rather your hips up. Give your hamstrings a little bit more space, and then you can lower down in any direction. In our description box, we will link resources, the CNN and Sesame Street tabletop on anti-racism, and a podcast, the Citizen Podcast with Carrie Kelly and Layla Saad, author of Me and White Supremacy. And in that podcast, the author talks about how whatever endeavor you take, you're going to make mistakes. You don't know what you don't know. So as you settle into this shape, maybe it's brand new. If anything, it's new today. Can you let go of the need or pressure to do it perfect or right? Notice where you feel stretch or sensation. I feel it a lot in my hips. Maybe you're even feeling it in your arms, your traps. Just pay attention to your body here for about 5 more breaths. And let your breath be even. Your inhale and exhale the same. Samavriti pranayama. Feel the rhythm in your breath. And know that you can come back to this posture anytime during your practice or your day. When you just want to rest or a break, you want to turn in. Then make your way to tabletop. So lift up to your hands and knees and stack your shoulders over your wrists, stack your hips over your knees, starting with your spine long, your neck long. And you can start to rock forward and back. Maybe you're letting your shoulders kind of cross over your fingertips. That might be a big stretch in your wrists, side to side. So especially if you're brand new to yoga, where you'll start to feel a lot of maybe soreness is in your wrists. So finding ways to stretch or prepare them. You could even turn your fingertips out toward the sides of your mat and take that side to side, or even circles. And then find stillness in tabletop. Inhale, cow pose. Let your belly button kind of just hang to your mat as you lift the crown of your head. Breathe here as you open your chest. Now, energetically, draw the base of your palms back, so it's like you're drawing your hands back toward your knees, but you're not moving them. And then see if you can lift the crown of your head a little more. Cat pose. Pick your navel up as far away from your mat as possible, and then tuck your chin in tight to your chest. You could point your tailbone down toward the backs of your knees. Really press into your hands. Inhale, cow pose. Drop your belly, lift your chin. Exhale, cat pose. Round and stretch. And continue on your own. So going between this cow and cat. All the while pressing in your hands. Notice where you feel stretch. Notice if you've lost your breath. Can you stay connected to your even inhale and exhale? Then come back to tabletop, so your neutral spine. Pick up your right knee. So your right knee is just going to hover away from your mat. And we're going to take some circles, starting clockwise, bringing your knee up, out, and around. And as you take a couple more, just noticing range of motion, starting to warm up your hips. And then pause next time your right knee comes down, and we'll go the other direction. So send your knee back, out, and around. Try to avoid swaying way off over into your left hip. And then go ahead and lower your right knee down. We'll take that on the other side. Pick up your left knee. Bring your knee up, out, and around. Continue to breathe here. And then go the other direction. Send your knee back, out, and up. You might start to feel a little heat. You're using your core strength. Maybe your wrists are starting to tire. Lower your left knee down. We'll give your wrists a break in just a moment, but know that you can always come to fists. So the flat part of your fist is pressing into the ground, and that can always give them a little break. Now send your right toes to the back of your mat. Add a little stretch through the back of your calf, your leg. Nod your head yes or no. Add some movement. From here, base your left hand. Kickstand your left toes toward the left edge of your mat and open your chest to the right so you're in supported side plank. And stay where you are. I'm just going to turn and face you. Good. So open your chest. Then you're going to lift yourself up as you bend into your right knee. As you lift yourself up, bend into your right knee tracks in line with your toes. And I didn't mention earlier, I apologize, but especially if you're on a hard surface, if you'd like to place a blanket under your left knee, feel free. You could always just kind of roll up your mat and add a little extra cushion. So what we're in right now is like a modified warrior 2, modified Virabhadrasana 2. We're going to do this standing a little bit later in class. So bring your arms out wide. Gaze over your right middle finger. So we're kind of going to get used to this posture supported or grounded first. Shoulders are over wrists. And then let's add a little pulse so we can find a stretch in our hip and inner thigh. So sink your left glute toward your left calf, and you can sweep, or rather your right glute to right calf, and sweep your left arm forward, and then come back to start. And we'll do that a few more times, sinking in, and then slowly coming out. And feel your right knee track in line with your toes. Maybe you feel a big stretch on the inseam of your right leg. I feel that too. And then pausing, arms wide like a T. We're going to shift into a supported side angle. So lower your right forearm to your right thigh, or you could place your hand on a block or a book inside your right foot. Try to keep your chest open. Left hand can just stay on your hip, or it can reach up toward the ceiling, maybe even point to the front of your space. So sinking into your hips, staying open in your chest. Your gaze can be down, forward, or even up. Take a few breaths here. So especially if these shapes are new in your body, don't worry too much about it being exactly perfect. You definitely don't have to look like me, but pay attention to sensation and pay attention to your breath. And we'll slowly lift back up to our modified warrior two. Back to supported side plank. Place your left hand under your left shoulder. Reach your right hand high and stretch up. So feel this big stretch through your right side body. And again, you can kind of play with your gaze. Inhale. Exhale, come back slow to tabletop. Might feel nice to kind of sway your hips, circles, or cow-cat. And then we'll do that on the other side. First, send your left toes back. Feel a stretch through the back of your left leg, maybe a little rock. Come back to your even inhale and exhale. From here, we'll set up supported side plank. So kickstand your right toes behind you as you come to the inseam of your left leg and open your chest. And I'm going to adjust so I mirror you. And as you open your chest, think of lifting your left fingertips up to the sky to pick you up. And we'll set up for our grounded warrior two. So bend your left knee, point your left toes, and your knees in line with your toes. Your shoulders stack over your hips. Arms can open wide like a T. Gaze over your left middle finger. And then we'll start to add that pulse again. So sinking your left glute close to your left calf. Maybe sweep your right arm forward and then lift back up. And just flowing with your breath, sinking in. And you don't have to go very deep. You can just move an inch or two, especially if that's a lot of sensation, then that's a great place to stay. And then pause in your Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Supported extended side angle. Bring your left forearm to your left thigh, and then start to sink into your hips. From here, maybe reach your left fingertips down to the ground, or maybe come to a block. And really start to open your chest. Maybe your right hand stays here, or stretch and move. And in that podcast, Layla Saad mentions, there's an acceptance to just recognize that messing up might not be the worst thing. So especially as you try on new things in your body, maybe it's not exactly perfect, and that's okay. It's not the worst thing. You're here, you're breathing, paying attention to your body, trying on new things. And slowly lift yourself back up through your supported warrior two. Base your right hand. Left hand comes high, supported side plank. And you can kind of add some circles or stretch. Just really breathe and find space through your left side body. So you're even feeling a space between your ribs. Inhale. Exhale, tabletop. Lower your left hand down. From tabletop, tuck your toes under. Downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Press into your palms, lift your hips up. And just take a little time here to bend your knees, sway side to side. So downward facing dog is a pose that we will do a lot in our yoga classes, especially if you try on vinyasa or flow style classes. And there's a lot happening here. So you're creating this triangle shape with your body, and bend your knees as much as you need. Maybe even bring your feet wide to the edges of your mat. Press into your palms and lift your hips or your tailbone up and back. So you feel this energy of your hands pressing into the earth and then drawing energy up. And then your heels are kind of reaching down, they're rooting, but it's okay if they don't touch. Just have that energy coming downward on the back side of your body. Just a few more breaths here. Know that if your shoulders or wrists fatigue, tabletop or child's pose is always a great option. I don't feel like downward dog ever gets easy, but it just gets more familiar. It gets less awkward, maybe. Then gaze to your hands and slowly walk your feet up. Take a little time in a forward fold in Ragdoll with your feet separate. Maybe box out your arms, rock your head side to side. Shake out any movement in your head or neck. So especially if you've been having hard conversations, maybe these conversations are new to you or new to friends or family. Notice where you might be carrying the weight of those conversations in your body, maybe your shoulders, your low back. Can you just try to let go of a little tension here, really releasing to gravity, even if you bend your knees or bring your hands to the earth. Just try to let go a little bit. And then tuck your chin to your chest. Keep your gaze down and slowly roll up to stand. Once you arrive standing, it might be nice to take a few shoulder rolls. You could stretch your neck. And then we'll meet in mountain pose or Tadasana. So for Tadasana, more traditional, your feet come together to touch. Personally, I like a little space, so feel free to bring your feet as wide as you prefer. Notice if you tend to turn in or out a little bit with your feet, and a little bit is fine. If it's pretty significant, just see if you could bring them a little bit more parallel. From here, face your palms forward to the front of your space. Take a big shoulder roll to open your chest, open your shoulders. Maybe close your eyes or just soften your gaze down. And without changing much, just bring your palms together at heart center, Samasthiti, equal standing pose. And really press your palms into the midline. Try to soften your shoulders. Maybe feel a little space in your armpits. And take a moment to set an intention for this class, maybe for the rest of your day or week. Option 2, align your intention with being willing to make mistakes. What kind of permission or freedom or feeling is that to just be okay, make mistakes? And inhale, fill up. Exhale, let it out. Inhale through your nose. This time, seal your lips. Exhale through your nose. One more like that here. Inhale. Ujjayi, exhale. Good. Keep that breath. Open your eyes or reach your fingertips up, Urdhva Hastasana. And as you breathe here, if Ujjayi, breathing in and out of your nose, just doesn't feel right today, you can always part your lips and breathe normal. As you reach your fingertips up, palms face in, maybe your hands touch, but if you start to feel your shoulders kind of crunching up by your ears, I invite you to bring your hands wide, and they can be out kind of like a Y. You're rooted in your feet as you draw your navel up and in. Maybe even turn your gaze up toward the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Now as you fold, find your flat back, think tabletop. You're folding at the hip creases. Hands can be at center like we were earlier, or out wide for an extra stretch in your chest and shoulders. However you get there, we'll end in a forward fold. Know that your hands can be on blocks. Your bent knees can be bent. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your hands to shins or your thighs and lift your chest. So breathe here as you think about tabletop spine, and you're using kind of like the strength of your back and the strength of your belly to lift yourself up and find some length. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come to your mat. Point your tailbone up. Inhale, stand tall. Reach your hands out and up. Big stretch. Exhale, hands to your heart. Samasthiti. And when you come back here, equal standing pose, come back to your intention. Mindfully repeat or chant it in your head. So we're going to flow through those postures 2 more times, breath to movement. Surya Namaskar A or Sun Salutation A. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, stand tall, upward salute. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Just pause here a few moments, taking time to check in. See how it feels to move and breathe in your body. Maybe this is all brand new. Take a moment to just be standing. Inhale, reach up, stretch up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. So bend your knees just like you're sitting in a chair, and then start to lift your chest away from your thighs. From here, hands can be on your hips, they can be at your heart, or you can even reach your fingertips up. So don't get distracted by the arms, like they don't have to be up. We're really here to focus on your legs. We're starting to warm up and get into the bigger muscles in your body, so that's our priority. Maybe feet are closer together, just like when we were standing. It's a little bit more traditional, but I feel like I can sink in deeper with a wider stance. So know that you can try things on. There isn't just one way to do every pose or every posture. From here, maybe bring your hands to your hips or your back. Notice if there's a big sway in your back. And if that's the case, draw your belly button up and in. So you're using core strength to lengthen your spine, and then sink just a little deeper. We're here for a few more breaths, and at any time you need to straighten your legs and stand up, feel free. Otherwise, I invite you to come back to your intention, or to focus on your breath, or to find a drishti, a gazing point, as you sink just a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot back. From here, take a moment to check that you are in a long stance. Your feet are on 2 separate tracks. And then spiral your back foot flat. So now you have heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. So if you were to draw a line from your front heel to your back foot, you would find a connection. And then keep your front knee bent as you lift and open your chest. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Arms wide like a T. Hands can be at your hips. Open your chest. And maybe start to pulse a little bit or move. Just like earlier when we were grounded, let your right knee stay in line with your toes. Shoulders are stacked over your hips, arms wide like a T. And again, we've already done this grounded. Maybe there's some familiarity if this is all new. And breathe. So we hold poses the first time through to create muscle memory. So take this time to just check in as you press through the back edge of your left foot and get just a little wider in your stance, wider in your arms. Inhale, sink a little deeper. Exhale, fold. Bring your hands down. Frame your front foot, maybe to blocks, and then step your left foot up. And that's a big step, so take as many as you need to bring your left foot up next to your right. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, step your right foot back. So again, take time to set up your foundation. We're not in a huge rush. Your feet are on 2 separate tracks. And then spiral your back foot flat. And when you look at your back foot, you want to be able to see your arch of your foot kind of lifting away. So we're not rolling in. Press through the outer part of your right foot. And then lift your chest. As you sink in and adjust. Know that you can move around a little bit. Bend into your front knee. Open your arms wide like a T. And start to breathe. So as you hold postures, you'll really start to feel like sensation coming up. Maybe there's heat in your legs. Maybe your legs start to shake. And it's your responsibility to discern whether this is a challenge that you are meant to meet today, or if you're nearing potential harm or danger and you need to take a little rest. And know that a rest is always fine. Straighten your left leg and just join back in whenever you're ready. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Bring your left hand down. Pick up your back heel and step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Bend your knees, lift your chest. We're just passing through. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot back. Lower your left foot down. Inhale, warrior two. We've already been here. We're just going to flow through. Exhale, extended side angle. Bring your right forearm to your right thigh or the inside of your knee. So again, we've tried on this pose already today, but it might feel a lot different when you're not on your back knee. And pay attention to that heat. Again, monitor and discern what's right for you. Try to avoid collapsing into your right forearm or right hand. So really press through the back edge of your left foot. Press in with your right heel. Squeeze your inner thighs together and then find a little length. So we're using core strength. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, pick up your back heel, and then step your left foot up. So however you transition, don't let that kind of mucky part distract you. We'll just meet in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back. Inhale, warrior two. Ground your back foot, lift your chest. Exhale, extended side angle. Bring your left forearm or arm to your left leg. Stay open in your chest. Feel your left knee track in line with your toes. Again, all the stuff that we were doing earlier grounded, now with a new challenge. And if you really prefer the grounded variation, you can go there. That's a really nice thing anytime in any class. Couple more breaths. Can you find an ease in your inhale and exhale? Inhale. Exhale, fold. And make your way to your Uttanasana, your forward fold. And just a reminder, or so you know, those poses don't get easier. They get more familiar. It gets more comfortable, maybe discerning or paying attention to your body and what you need. They don't ever get easy. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot back. Low lunge. Inhale, warrior two, adding on to what we know. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Hold your legs. Bring your left hand either to your back thigh or maybe it comes down below your knee. Just try to avoid pressing on the side of your knee. Your hips are level, open toward the left side of your space. Right hand can reach straight up. That's a nice stretch. Or you can start to add a little lean back. And that's just an add-on. So you choose what's right for you. The priority is to keep the bend in your front knee. So if you're leaning way far back but the leg is straight, just a different posture. We're staying in it with the legs. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Hands frame your front foot. Pick up your heel. Big step up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. So, right hand to back leg. Left fingertips reach up. Your palm faces the back of your space. Bring your left bicep by your ear. Sink your hips down toward your mat. Left knee tracks in line with your left toes. Big stretch through your left side body. Strong in your back leg. Inhale. Exhale. Forward fold. Take a moment in a forward fold. We will flow through our sun bee variation. One more round, breath to movement, nothing new, not holding. You've already done all the work, you've built the foundation. Just try to get a little lost in moving with your breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana, last one. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot back. Inhale, warrior two. Ground your foot, lift your chest. Exhale, extended side angle. Hold your legs. Inhale, reverse warrior, big stretch up, maybe even back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Reach your left hand high. Big stretch up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, have a seat. So I'm going to give you some options. Option one, we're going to stay in a seated meditation for about a minute. If that doesn't work for you, then child's pose, where we started class, that might be an option. For a seated meditation, sometimes sitting on a block can be nice and just come cross-legged. But at your home, you can use a chair or your couch. Just make sure it's someplace that you can keep a long spine. And as you make your way to your seat, close your eyes or just find a soft gaze down. Take a moment to check back in. Notice what came up for you, maybe moving through new postures. Maybe there were some wobbles or falls or wrong sides. Maybe there were some mistakes. Can you embrace that it's okay to make mistakes, that you're doing something, you're moving, you're acting? Can you offer yourself a little kindness, a little space, a little permission? And we'll be here just a little bit longer, but take a little time to reflect also on where you are allowing yourself to make mistakes off your mat. And feel free to stay here about 3 to 5 more breaths. Eventually, we'll make our way to stand. You want to pass through a forward fold. maybe some cow-cat, feel free. As you come to standing, we're going to do a little balancing. So if you know that balancing is something that you're working on, then maybe being near a wall or chair for support can be nice. We'll balance on your right leg first. So pick up your left knee, and your left knee stays about hip height. And notice if, in order to pick up your left knee, you're kind of swaying back. Try to keep your shoulders over your hips, just like we were working on in our postures earlier. Draw your navel up and in. And you notice when you are balancing on one leg that you're not a statue. Your ankle is wobbling a little bit, maybe a lot of bit. That's okay. And know that our goal isn't to be perfectly still. It's to stay balanced or stay standing despite fluctuations or movement. Then start to find some circles in your hip, moving your left knee around a few times clockwise or counterclockwise, and then go the other way. And then lower your left foot down. Balance on your left leg. Pick up your right knee. Take a moment here. So knee in line with hip. And then your heel is an extension of your knee. So we're not drawing it in close toward your glute. Your toes curl back toward your shin. Really active and tall. So you're drawing energy up. From here, you can start to find circles in your hip one way. And maybe you tap. Maybe you find support, and maybe one side just feels way more or less stable than the other, and go the other direction. And lower your right foot down. We'll take that on the other side. Balance on your right leg, pick up your left knee, and then open your left knee wide. From here, tree pose. You can place your heel on your ankle, your inner calf, or maybe all the way up to your thigh. So I'm having one of those not great balance days. And that's kind of what I love about balancing poses, that no matter how long you've practiced, there's going to be days that it's just hard to balance. So find support if you are near a wall. I don't have that luxury right now. But now squeeze your left glute to open, your left knee wide. Your hips are level. Find some space. Try to adjust your gazing point, and a few more breaths here. Then slowly lower your left foot down. Balance on your left leg, setting up tree pose for Shavasana on the other side. So notice also how you respond if you fall out or when you fall out of a pose. Notice how you respond if you have a regular practice and some days like the pose just isn't there. Can you give yourself a little space, a little permission to make mistakes? Whether you are a beginner or a seasoned practitioner, when we don't allow ourselves the opportunity for mistakes, and we miss out on learning, on growing, on possible transformation. Inhale. Exhale, lower your right foot down. So we're going to do one more balancing posture each side, half moon Ardha Chandrasana B. And I really, really love this posture up against a wall. So if you are near one and you have that option, I highly recommend. Start balancing on your right leg. And go ahead, if you have a block, go ahead and use a block. You can bring your right hand down to a block. And try to be mindful that your block or chair or stool isn't right next to your right toes, because that kind of encourages us to round down. So stay long in your spine, and then bring your left hand to your left hip. Your left toes are behind you. You can see what it's like to maybe like pick up your toes a little bit. And then as you're ready, maybe bring your left heel up to hip height. Now your right leg, your standing leg, does not have to be perfectly straight. And again, it might be wobbling or moving. You can keep your left hand on your left hip, or maybe start to reach your hand up. And if you were against a wall, your right hip your right outer hip would be resting against the wall, so is your upper back. And you can really feel the opening when you use the wall for support. We're here for 3. Maybe get a little lighter or float your right fingertips for 2. 1, forward fold, slowly lower your left foot down and release your fold. And then slowly make your way back up to standing. We'll take that on the other side. So half moon, Ardha Chandrasana B can be a really challenging pose. It can be a really fun pose. Pay attention to your breath. If you really start to hold or catch your breath, maybe that's your body asking you to kind of shift, try something else, or pull back a little bit. So balancing on your left leg, bring your left hand to your block for support, right hand on your right hip, and send your right toes back. And you can just play, kind of picking up your right toes. That's a nice place to start. Or see what it's like to pick up your left foot. And I keep a little micro bend in my standing leg. I live in a tight body, so that helps me avoid locking or straining the back of my leg. So that might work for you too. And as you get really active through your right leg, maybe start to open your chest. And your gaze can stay down if you're really daring. Maybe look out to the side. If you're really daring, maybe look up toward the ceiling. You can even send your right fingertips up toward the sky. Maybe float your left fingertips away. We're here for 3. Forward fold slowly in 2. 1. Lower your right foot down. Take a moment. Forward fold. Just release. Bend your knees as much as you need. From here, we'll take a little time in Balasana or yogi squat. So lots of layers for this pose. A block or a wall can be really helpful. For Balasana yogi squat, from your forward fold, you can bring your feet out wide a little bit. Your heels turn in, your toes point out. And then bend your knees and sink into your hips. It might feel good to kind of sway side to side a little bit. From here, hands come together at your heart. And if this just doesn't work for your body today, instead of not doing or avoiding it, there are a lot of options. So you could sit on a block right under your sit bones, and that kind of takes the pressure out of your hips. You have something supporting you. It's not such a weight-bearing hold. If you're near a wall, you can just bring your back against a wall. Similar thing. You have some support. You could always keep this more of a mid-squat, so your forearms are on your thighs. That might be better for your joints, but I feel like this is more work. So many options. And try different things on. Don't be too worried about doing it perfect or right. We're going to be here for a few more breaths. And where there's discomfort, where there's challenge, there might be an opportunity to learn something new, find growth, find transformation. That's for you to discern. And slowly make your way back, forward fold, hands to the ground, lift your hips, walk your feet together, and then have a seat. From here, we'll move into a seated half pigeon. So start with both legs straight and long out in front of you. And this can be a really nice place to sit on a blanket or to fold up your mat for a little bit of height. So that can help you stay long in your low back. From here, bring your right ankle to your left thigh, flex your foot, so you kind of have a figure 4 shape, and then start to bend your left knee. Now, the closer in your left heel to your glute, the more sensation you'll experience. So you decide where you want to put your foot. Press into your palms and really feel a lift away in your chest. All the while, flex your right foot, open your knee. And if this is just more sensation than you want, you could always come to your forearms or all the way back to your back. So find a shape that works for you. Inhale. Exhale. Straighten your left leg out long. Bring your right foot inside. the inseam of your left leg. And take a moment first, kind of twist to your right. So left hand comes to right thigh, right hand behind you, open your chest, maybe even gaze over your right shoulder. Then turn your chest the other way so that your heart centers in line with your toes. So there's a little twist happening to your left now, and then slowly start to fold down. All the while breathing. Slowly start to lift your chest. Extend your right leg long. Take a moment to pause. Both legs straight and active. Sit tall. Seated half pigeon. Bring your left ankle to your right thigh. Flex your foot, open your knee. And then start to bend your right knee as you bring your leg unit in closer toward your chest, all the while finding a lift up and away. You could add movement or sway. As we move into these longer holds, you have more time to breathe, to be in a posture for self-reflection. Notice when you get distracted. It'll happen. You might be even distracted by a sound, especially if you're practicing at home. Like all of a sudden, like I really want to do laundry when we're in these longer holds. Maybe there's something drawing your attention right now, but try to come back. And then slowly make your way out. Straighten your right leg. Bring your left foot on the inseam of your right leg. You might have to kind of move around side to side a little bit so you feel like your sit bones ground down. And then slowly start to twist to your left. So right hand to left thigh. Find your little kickstand. Open your chest. And we're not cranking, so you're not forcing your body into something. Like you're just being mindful and gentle, but feeling the twist. Then slowly, gentle twist other direction. Heart center in line with your right toes. And then start to add a fold here. So especially if this practice is new to you, I really encourage you to let go of like images you might have seen of poses or like expecting your body should look a certain way in a pose. Every posture has so many ways to personalize or modify or change sensation that we really just want to be here in this moment, in our body, in our breath. Slowly lift your chest. Make your way back. Tadasana, both legs long. We'll add our Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Feel your inner thighs spiral down. Draw your navel up and in. So a little active to begin this forward fold, even through the tops of your quads. If you touch them, they're pretty active and engaged. Inhale, reach up, stretch up. Exhale, fold. And maybe you have a strap or something handy if you wanted to use that, but you could always just have your hands on your shins. I like to bring my hands out wide sometimes, so a little bend in your knees, and then start to fold forward. Stay here. And slowly lift your chest. And we'll make our way onto our backs. Supta Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. As you lie back, bring the soles of your feet together. And especially if you did have two blocks or props in your space, it might be nice to set those up under your thighs or your knees. Maybe bring your hands to your belly or one hand to your heart. And take a little time in gratitude. Maybe be grateful for showing up, for trying something new. Grateful for your effort. Just step away from critiquing or judging. Spend a little time in kindness. Then help your knees together. It might feel nice to draw your knees into your chest. You could add a little rock side to side. We'll make our way to Shavasana, corpse pose. This is your final resting pose, our final meditation. So you could keep your knees bent, maybe let your knees touch, or extend your legs long. Heels come to the top corners of your mat. You could let your palms spill open or connect to your body. Again, so many options. Don't worry so much about doing it perfect or right. Just find a long, relaxed pose. And I'll hold space for us to be here for about 2 minutes, but you can always pause and stay here longer. Feel free to pause. Stay here longer if you like. Otherwise, you can add a little gentle movement to your body. And we'll make our way to a comfortable seat, but don't feel rushed. You could roll to your side in a fetal position. Maybe cross your legs. We've been here before, so just try to make your way as efficient as possible. Your long spine, eyes closed, or just a soft gaze down. Press your palms together at heart center. Remember, it's the choices you make that define who you are far more than your abilities. Thank you for choosing to practice your yoga. Lift your thumbs to your third eye, the center of your forehead. We will close with one final collective breath. Inhale. Exhale. Thank you so much for participating, especially if you are a beginner to yoga or to your practice, getting past that fear of making mistakes and actually doing, actually acting. Again, my name is Casey. Please check out our description box below. We have some fantastic links. Layla Saad's Me and White Supremacy, the podcast, and other shows for you as well. And if you do have any questions, if you are new to yoga, maybe type in our comments new if you're new to us. If you're new to these hard conversations on anti-racism and white supremacy that are happening, feel free to type new. And if you have questions for resources, let us know. Thank you.